This video is brought to you by Reblum, my choice for professional portrait retouching. More on that later. Hey folks, as you've probably seen from the deluge of videos, Hasselblad have just expanded the P range of lenses with the 75p. This joins the 28 and 45 as their portable range of kind of entry-level, lower price lenses, alongside the current range of V lenses, which is nicely built out, and the new range of flagship lenses, the E, which we just got the 20 to 35. I've actually been shooting with the 75p for a couple of months already, but they just sent me a new final production, retail packaging version to test out. So I'm going to just open it with you, let you have the sensory experience of taking off all the plastic and that kind of thing. And in this video, rather than just doing a solo showing you what this lens is about, I'm going to compare it to the 80mm f1.9 lens and the 90mm V lens to see how it compares, or how all three of them compare, and what might work best for your portrait work. So first of all, we have the hood. Now just a hot tip, if you want to keep all of it perfect, you can actually just slide these off and then remount them, but to give you the sensory experience, the lens itself, and then of course we have stickers on the top and bottom. These have the newer style of caps, just like the V lenses, as well with the full metal hood. All metal body, metal foot, and the simpler streamlined design of the P series, which doesn't have the control wheel or the push-pull focus that the V series lenses offer us. Otherwise, in the box, as usual, you also get the leather carry bag, manuals and warranty and all of that kind of thing. So as I say, I've been shooting with this guy for a couple of months already. I've taken out hiking in Oregon. I've done a bunch of different shooting with Steph, including at the beach, in the park, and on location all around California, as well as island portraits with Honey and Hana in Hong Kong. So in this video, I'm going to run you through my experience shooting with these three lenses side by side, run you through the different use cases for each of them, of course with an emphasis on the new guy, the 75p.
You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. When the beat goes off, we bang to the. You can have whatever you like. Whatever you like.
Now the first thing that jumps out at you when you're shooting these side by side is just how much smaller and lighter the 75 really is, especially when you compare it to the 80mm. The 80mm f1.9 weighs in at over a kilogram, whereas the 90V is 551 grams and the 75p is just 398 grams. It's also around 20% shorter than the 90mm lens, and despite these size and weight savings, it's also around half the price of the 90V. That price difference is based on the different optics, the lack of the push-pull focus override, the slower aperture, and the fact that the 75p is made in China, whereas the 90 and 80mm lenses are both made in Japan. The 75p also has the most complex optical design of any of the P lenses to date, like the 28 or the 45 that I don't have here. This guy has 10 elements in 10 groups, including one spherical and 3 extra low dispersion elements. The leaf shutter of this guy goes all the way through to 1/2000th of a second, so you can sync your shutter speed all the way up to that, which is the same as the 45p and the 80mm lens, but it's behind the 90V and the 28p, which will both go up to 1/4000th of a second. The 75 is, however, the fastest of the P range, with the 28 and 45 maxing out at f4, and this guy, being a portrait lens, goes down to f3.4. If you're a Hasselblad shooter, check out my expert setup guide. It's already been updated for the 75p and it walks you through every single lens in the system, as well as the X2D, the 907X, as well as topics like card selection, focus editing software, and practical guides like using adapted lenses, studio portraiture setup, and a guide to long exposure. Full details below. Now, let's talk about aperture, being that these are portrait lenses. Of course, you're looking at around about a stop to go from the 75 3.4 to the 90 2.5, and then from that up to the 80 1.9. Now, exposure is one thing, but given we're shooting portraits, the depth of field we're getting is likely to be really important to us. Take a look at this fairly tight head and shoulders shot that I took of Honey. We're already getting the second eye out of focus, so there f3.4 is plenty shallow enough. If I was shooting 3/4 or full body shots, then the extra expense of the f2.5 might be justified. Or if I want to just completely obliterate the background and just have it dissolve, then the 80 1.9 could be the best option. It just depends on what your distance to the subject is going to be. The images you're seeing in this video have already been run through Reblum, which analyzes each image and retouches skin blemishes, discoloration, and pimples as softly or comprehensively as you like, without losing the natural texture of the skin. You can grab yourself a free trial at the link in the video description. Okay, let's talk use cases now, and we'll start in reverse order from oldest to newest. The 80mm lens, I do love it. You have to love the look though to make it worthwhile given the range these days. It's got a really fast aperture for medium format, really nice, beautiful, dreamy look to it. But there's no escaping it. It's one of the first lenses that they released. The motors aren't as sophisticated as the most recent ones, and the autofocus is slow. Unless it's a subject that you're working with that's, fairly stationary, you're gonna have trouble if you're trying to shoot sports or pets or that kind of thing with it. It's also by far the biggest and most expensive and heaviest, so it's quite a niche lens. Next up, the 90V. For me, this is probably the rock star of the XCD range. It's still back-ordered around a lot of the world. It's beautiful image quality, great contrast, excellent separation. It focuses really fast. It's that much lighter than the 1.9 80mm. It's got the push-pull for manual focus override, declickable aperture, all of the styling that goes with the V system. It's definitely one of my favorites in the range, and for people who have the budget and want the extra light over the P, it's a great option. Next up is the 75P, the new guy. P is for portable, but I think it could also stand for popular. I think this is going to appeal to a lot of photographers. I really enjoyed hiking with it around Oregon. The lighter weight and overall dimensions being smaller was really handy for carrying it all day. But I think there's 3 more groups that this could appeal to beyond the fact that it's just nice and small.
The first is those who haven't invested in a native portrait lens yet. Maybe you feel you don't shoot portraits enough to make investing in the 80 or 90 worthwhile, then this could be interesting for you. Also, for those of you who maybe do already have the 80 or even the 90, but do want a lighter, slightly shorter version that you can walk around with. And the last one would be those who are simply looking for a really up-to-date, slightly long standard lens. Once you put in the crop factor of 0.79, this comes out to being like a 59mm lens. So it's not that much longer than what we consider to be standard lenses. And given its dimensions, it could make for just a nice everyday walk-around lens that you can also shoot portraits with. So check out the sample files below, folks. Let me know your thoughts. If you're in the market for a smaller, more compact, more lightweight, less expensive option, and you want to cover that kind of long standard to short portrait range, the 75p could be just a ticket for you. Let me know any questions you have, and I'll see you soon.